We're gonna let her hang today.
Hey, welcome back. It's the New Brunswick Dirt Riders Association's 2022 Hare Scramble series, and this is race number 1 here in McQuade. And like Nick said, we're going to let it hang out. I'm racing intermediate once again, and this year it's a pretty big class for our neck of the woods, about 37 riders. And there's some fast guys. Right now, we're just coming through the chicane, which you might recognize from last year. And I'm getting hit with so much rubber, it feels like I'm in an adult toy store. Rubbing tires and banging handlebars aside, the chicane is doing what it needs to do, which is to shake us out. There's about a dozen riders out in front of me, so I consider that not a bad start. Alright, now we're on the track proper. We've gone through the chicane area, and if you watched my video from last year, you're going to recognize this track. We are running the same direction on the same loop, same trails, which is good. Gives me a little bit of a sense of what to expect, but this is going to be a rough track. Not only a rough track, it's a hot day. Whoa! Low jowl on bike 300 gives me a little brake check. Not really, but I was just not paying attention. Almost ran into him, and now I do run into him. And this little traffic jam gives Francois a chance to get around me, and get around me he does, picking a hot line. By now, most of you have probably noticed the watch sitting on my handlebars, and that's to make me look a little bit more professional and checked out, like I know what I'm doing. And most of you probably also noticed that I didn't actually hit the timer to start it, so let's just keep that between ourselves. Trying to improve my position here, and I'm looking for the hot line, and here it is. I get around Francois, who got around me doing the same thing. This is the same line that I looked for last year, and it didn't work out for me, but it did this year, so yay me, and I improved my position by 1. Alright, we're a couple minutes in. It seems a little early for the pep talks, but whatever. If it works, it works. I'm gripping the handlebars a bit hard, and I'm trying to relax to fend off the arm pump. Right here, we're going to get past Aiden on bike 175. It looks like he may have come into that corner a bit hot and overshot it a little bit, but we improve our position by 1 more. Pile into the back of Logal, and yeah, I get a little shouty, but it's not at Logal. It's basically the cries of a man hanging on by his fingertips, trying not to roll down the hill backwards. If you ride dirt bikes off-road, you know that feeling, and it's uncomfortable. And I don't know how to ride a bike backwards, so I'm glad I was able to get forward. And Logal, thank you very much for pushing your bike out of the way and letting me by. So that highlights a little bit of what I'm calling that racing mindset, that riding a bit more aggressively. But nowhere in there do I want to lose any of the civility that makes this community-based racing, where it's fun to come out and it's fun to compete, and you can push hard and challenge the guy or the gal next to you to go a little faster or run a little harder, but it's all friendly. comes to hills, last year I talked about wanting to be able to hit them with a bit more authority. I was getting up the hills and I gave myself a little pat on the back, but I was paddling like I am right now, and at least I'm being consistent year over year. But what I want to do is hit the hills more like this one. Last year I also made the comment that you don't make time on a hill, but you can certainly lose time. And that may be mostly true, but I think if I could get up these hills a little more cleanly, I could make time. That's right. Chant a little mantra there to relax. You've got this. It's okay. And failing relaxing, you could just shout at yourself, which is a motivator in itself. I'm not sure how relaxing it is, but there you go. We're holding a good pace and we're starting to overtake some of the plus 40 riders. This is Aaron on bike 207 fighting his way up this hill, and shortly after that it's going to be Jamie on bike 79 having fought his way up the hill. I feel their pain because I'm pretty hot right now. Like I said, it's a hot day, and my struggle is going to continue, and I'm sure theirs does as well. We're 7 minutes in, and I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm quite happy with this start, and I'm quite happy with the pace I'm holding. I won't be able to hold it for all the laps that I do, but so far this is going well, and I feel like I'm racing. Alright, what I'm not happy about is that there's a bike in front of me, and I'm used to riding alone, and I rather like it, so I have to get past this bike or I have to fall back. Now, I'm not going to give up position that easy, so I'm going to push a little harder here to try and get by Turk. That's Turk on bike 23, and it's not going to be easy. He's definitely going to make me work for it. I do have to say thank you to Turk though, because when I got on that hill and I banged into the back of Logal, Turk came up beside me and took me on the right, and was kind enough not to dump the clutch and rip the side off my bike or take my leg off. He got by clean, and it was a well done job, so thank you for that, Turk. Right here we get past bike 181, piloted by Kathleen, and I'm going to see Kathleen again briefly in lap 2, where she gets by me, I get by her, she gets by me, and then she's gone. She generally is a faster rider than I am with more endurance, so she's normally placing 3 or 4 spots ahead of me at the end of the race, and that's no change here. Yeah, throwing down a few rev bombs to give Turk something to think about as he looks back at me. I wasn't going to clear that double, so I just rolled them. I don't know much about jumping bikes on a motocross track, but I do know I can jump across a tabletop or at least land flat on it, and I can suck it up. And that's what's going to happen here. So a slight pause. This is the first time that I'm ever going to achieve an airborne pass, though I almost eat poo coming off this next one because I dropped the front end in when I cut the throttle. In my excitement, I was going a little faster than I had skills for, but you know what, the bike took it for me, and I'm still moving, and I'm a little bit giddy about this, so I'm just going to carry on. it, I'll admit that wasn't the most manly of sounds. In my mind, I was going to rail that corner. That's not what happened. Front end tucked a little bit because of bad body position. Didn't set me up well for the whoops, and I chopped the throttle again and almost eat poo. It's becoming a bit of a theme here. I have to say I've gotten a little bit more comfortable jumping the bike. It's not something I had a whole lot of experience with. Sorry NT, I'm not letting her hang, but I'm getting there. And this is setting me up for some thoughts about getting down to Riverglade motocross track on a Wednesday night to get some practice in.
Get in there! Go, go, go! Whoa.
What you can't see off camera is Jason on bike 180 trying to get past me, and I'm trying to let him go by me, but yeah, I got a little aggressive on the brakes there and he ended up piling into me. So after the unintentional dick move, the right thing to do is the intentional dick move, which is blast into the trail and try and hold a pace to stay in front of them. The Godfather giving me a little encouragement to go, 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 and that's what I'm trying to do so I don't hold up Jason anymore. And I'm not holding up Jason. He hasn't caught up to me just yet, but he's going to. And of course, if he was behind me, I'd let him on by, but I'd make him work for it a little bit because we're racing. You only get so many dick moves in a race. I've used up one unintentional and one kind of intentional where I dove into the trail not wanting to give up position and making Jason work a bit for it. And he's put in the work, and so I give him the pass, though he was going to take it anyway because he was faster than me. Now, if you're keeping track, from the very beginning I thought there was about a dozen bikes in front of me, and that's about true. I've made up a couple positions here and a few passes, and now just gotten past. So what happens is, for this first lap, I end up taking 10th position, which is actually really good in this field. Now, I don't hold it, I end up finishing 15th overall. Here we're going to go by Mark on bike 251. He's riding in the plus 40 group as well. It looks like he's taking a pretty good fall on those routes. I hope he's all right. go Stefan just around the corner. I think that's Stefan on bike 338. I've been chasing him since the motocross track, and now we're on this straight here. And this straight last year kind of caught me out because I could see that tent, and I thought, my lap's almost over. I'm a bit of a hero. Look how fast I am. And neither of those things are true. It's not the end of the lap. I'm not a hero, and I'm not going that terribly fast, although I'm going better than I did last year. Which does bring up the point about another thing racing gives you. You can certainly build some skills, you can certainly have a lot of fun, and you can certainly build on your mental resiliency to adapt to a bit of suffering, a bit of physical discomfort, if you will. Last year in my videos I joked quite a bit about riding alone on these races. I'm definitely not as fast as the fast guys, and I'm only slightly faster than the slow guys, and because we have a small group, I usually end up riding alone. And I'm trying to prevent that right now by trying to catch Stefan out in front of me, but he's eluding me right now, so I'm gonna ride alone for a little bit.
Rugged.
So right now I'm thinking about who's in front of me and can I catch up to them. And based on this little struggle fest, I should probably focus more on the trail and less about the bike that might be out in front of me. And it's worthy of a pause to give a shout out to Hugo's front fender from last year. Hugo runs a really good race this year, and I have no doubt he'll be in intermediate class next year if he chooses to. So this is Stefan, and I do reel him in, and he is in my class, so I've improved my position by one more. Moment of self-doubt. I thought Stefan was right behind me and I was going to give him the pass, but he's not there. I'm hearing things, so back on the throttle. So most of the video prior to this was real time. I've cut out a chunk here towards the end where I'm just riding by myself. It's not overly interesting. This first lap takes me 26 minutes to complete. It's not a burning pace compared to some others, but you know what? That's 2 minutes faster than my last year's first lap, and I'm okay with that. In this race I end up finishing 15th out of 37, so that puts me a little bit middle of the pack, a little bit further ahead, and that's pretty good too. Got lots of things to still learn, and one of them is to pay attention. So when I roll in on my fourth lap, which was my final lap, I thought Brent told me that I had time on the clock, and I don't have it in me to stop, so I hit the throttle and I kept going. And probably much to his bewilderment, I went out and did a fifth lap, which I'll call my sighting lap.